History books on the shelf.
Questions, Andy? No comments. You working for the police, you? I'm only messing.
Now, I have a question. What counts as a film?
I told you. It's a tune.
Hello and welcome back to KidsKast. My name is Emily.
Jeff, Ivy.
Today we are talking with a very special guest. She's a singer, songwriter from Liverpool who appeared last year on The Voice. She also has a brand new song out called Mess Around. Daisy Gill, thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me, girls. Can you tell us about your journey into music? What inspired you to start singing and writing songs?
I think I've always just liked singing when I was young, and I just continued it right the way through school. And it was pretty much quite straightforward for me, to be honest.
Where did your music style come from?
I don't know, I think I've always liked a good mix of music. My mum played loads of different songs when I was a kid, like loads of Motown and loads of newer stuff as well for that time, like Christina Aguilera and TLC when I was growing up. So I'm a bit older than you. All that type of music. So I just had a wide variety of just everything. So I always had music on growing up, like whether we were in the car or in the house or anything like that. So it was just a massive influence, really.
When you started writing music, who was your inspiration?
Honestly, it's the most cliche answer, but it was probably like Hannah Montana, because that was when I was a kid. Like Miley Cyrus, when she was in Hannah Montana, was like everyone loved her. So it was like that, or like Taylor Swift, which again, like I think every girl my age says the same thing, like, oh, Hannah Montana, Taylor Swift. But I think, yeah, they had a good influence on young girls back then, because people looked up to them and wanted to like learn to play instruments and stuff. Anyone like Swifties? Because I know younger people like Taylor Swift now. Don't you like Taylor Swift?
Swiftie, but
No.
I like a song.
Do you like some of what do you like?
I like Cardigan.
Yeah, that's a good song. Do you like what song do you listen to by anyone? Does it have to be Taylor Swift?
I listened to Central C.
Central C, I saw him in Glasgow. He was like good. The set was like really, really good. Yeah.
Who is your favourite artist or band that you've ever met or seen perform live?
I think like not met the artist I'm gonna say, but like Amy Winehouse is a massive artist I really, really love. But I also love Paloma Faith. I've been to see her a few times. My favourite artist I've met is Ray. I don't know if you just know Ray. She had a song on TikTok last year, Escapism.
Oh,
it was like really her. Yeah, she's like so good. So I met her. I was like a bit of a fangirl. I went to meet her, and she's like really nice as well. So I was like so happy.
When was the moment you decided to pursue music full time?
I was quite young again. Like I was always in like choirs. So I was in like the cathedral choir, the Catholic cathedral choir, because I went to a Catholic school. So we got involved with that when I was young, and I always just knew from literally like that big that I wanted to be a singer. And I'm kind of really lucky because like as you get older, sometimes people question like what do they want to do, where do they want to go in life, but I've always like had a solid plan of I'll do music. But I don't know why I thought that would work out, because some people do want to do music and they can't for some reason, or they don't feel like they're good enough and it sets them back. But I don't know, I always just wanted to do it and did it.
When you were going on The Voice, what was going through your head when you realised you're actually going to be on telly and like loads of people are going to be watching you?
I think it was like the most nerve-wracking thing ever that I've ever done, because it's different than like singing to people, because you're thinking like, oh my God, if I don't get a turn, like this is going to be dead humiliating. So I was like hella nervous. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But it was okay. I got through. But it was like the worst thing and the best thing at the same time, because your nerves are just like, oh my God, like everyone's going to see this from like my city and outside of my city. Even like people from like different countries were like commenting on it, like on YouTube and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, that's so weird. I don't know if you've watched the show at all, but literally, like when I watch it myself, when I get the chance, like there's no bad singers on The Voice, so it makes it 20 times hard. Because, you know, with other TV shows, maybe some of the artists are there because they're funny or, you know, they've got a little bit of personality, but everybody on The Voice is there because they're really, really good singers. So it makes it like 10 times more harder. So when 4 of the judges or coaches, they prefer to be called, turn for you, it just kind of validates that, oh, yeah, I am a good singer. I didn't know, like, I don't know why I chose to go with Tom, but they're all so good. I feel like Tom Jones is obviously, he's like the oldest singer and like more well-known out of all of the coaches. So he just felt like the right person to go with.
So how do you balance your personal life with your music career?
I don't. It's just really hard. Like, you just kind of, you just don't know. It's really, like, trying to find a balance is mad. Like, I sometimes don't see my mum very much, or I don't see friends, or I sometimes don't see my boyfriend much. Like, it can be like that because sometimes you're working loads and then other times you're not for weeks and then you're just crazy again for like weeks. Or like I did pantomime at Christmas and then you're away from home for like a month and a bit and you're rehearsing and stuff. So yeah, it's just weird, but you do have a little bit of downtime. But it's mainly weekends, so you don't get to see friends because everyone else is, you know, working maybe 9 to 5 jobs through the week and working like unsociable hours, so I don't really get to see anyone. It's really boring, to be honest, because I'm singing every weekend. So when everyone wants to have a little fun time with their friends on the weekend, I can't do that. I've got to be that good.
Is there anything you like doing like outside of doing music?
Yeah, it's kind of like a bit weird though. Like I love you know, The Sims. Like I probably love playing The Sims. Like I've played that for hours and hours, and like sometimes when I'm just like really bored, I've played it since I was a little kid, so I've got every game and I'll just sit there on like The Sims 4 and just like make houses or make families and stuff.
You never played The Sims 2?
Yeah, that's like my favourite. It's my favourite. Like,
Nan plays that.
Your nan plays that. It's like the best version of The Sims. Roblox. Is that like my version of The Sims? Like what all those kids played, like Roblox?
Yeah.
I think I played Roblox with my cousin when he was a kid. It's like, oh no, no, I haven't. I played Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Completely. Is it similar to Roblox? No. It's cute. What's Skibidi Toilet?
Now the conversation.
What's the Skibidi? What is that? And like people keep causing
Skibidi Toilet.
Go on, please.
I'm all this way to ask what's
I don't understand what it is, and someone made it on a update kit.
first thing. Do you know what it is?
No, what's it? He's like slang.
I have is something like slang.
Yes. Like it's like
Short.
what does
Charisma.
what does gas mean?
No, hang on.
Have I said something really bad?
Yeah.
No, because all these kids I'm on TikTok live a lot and they comment like all this.
Please, it means big nothing. That's what it
Is that what that means? But I sometimes do this segment on TikTok live where it's like singing comments and people will comment like Skibidi Toilet, Ohio. And I'm like, what is this?
So Skibidi Toilet, it's like a toilet.
Yeah.
It has this really long neck and it's this head.
That looks like demented. It's like
And then it's an online series. It's like a show.
it's meant to scare kids.
It's meant
Does it scare you?
No, but it's like no, everyone just uses it as a movie. It's like if someone's bad, they say, "Oh, that's so Skibidi Toilet." That or like some Sigma. Yeah,
That isn't Sigma. I that's Sigma. What does Sigma mean?
Like that when you have this.
Whoever it is, mate.
Like it's like the hunter. He's looking.
Yeah, is it? Yeah.
So Riz is short for charisma, which is like game. It's like your game.
My God, that's crazy.
What would you say your favourite part about Liverpool is?
I think the docks is really lovely. I think there's so many lovely places though. Like Liverpool, and I'll always say, hand on heart, it's my favourite city. I've been to so many different cities and places in the world, but Liverpool's a beautiful city. Like we've got Sefton Park, the docks. There's literally just so much to do in so many places, and it's just beautiful to look at. Like so many people love to come here for a reason.
What was it like growing up in Liverpool? How has being from Liverpool affected or inspired your songs?
I feel like being from Liverpool's a great thing because as a musician, like we're kind of known as a musical city, you know. We've got like the Beatles, the Laws, so many great bands and singers and artists. I think like there's other things that aren't really good about being from Liverpool because sometimes the way we speak, like when I go down to London or certain other places, it can kind of be looked down upon a little bit. It kind of can be a negative thing, but that's the way it is sometimes with like acting and singing and stuff. But personally, I think being from Liverpool is a good thing and it will always inspire your music as a musician just because you're from such a boss city.
Did you struggle with anything while growing up?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I've always been, you know, a bit of a crazy character. Like, I've always wore crazy clothes since I was, like, young and liked to be different and express myself. And I think when you're younger, people can look at that. And you might have looked at me when I come in and just started laughing and think, oh my God, what is this woman? But that's okay because we're different, and seeing other people who are different and like to be themselves becomes a good thing as you get older, because when you grow up, people realise, oh, like, to all look the same and be the same is kind of really boring. But I did struggle with it when I was younger because I just don't think people got me, and I had undiagnosed like ADHD and dyslexia. So in school, I really, really struggled. Like, I only got diagnosed with dyslexia in uni, literally like two years ago. So I never knew all those years, but I always struggled. So it was really, really difficult for me. And I think kids picked on me as well because I had like ADHD. Back then, ADHD wasn't really as known. Like, people didn't get diagnosed and girls didn't get diagnosed as much because, like, with younger girls, lads can be more naughty with ADHD and more boisterous, but girls, we just hide our symptoms a lot. So I was kind of misunderstood, so people just thought I was a bit weird. But it's just because I obviously had a lot of like undiagnosed neurodiversity, so I did really struggle growing up. And I didn't really have many friends because of that, because I was like an only child and I found it hard to be around people and like communicate with people. Like, I couldn't understand certain things. So it was a bit difficult, but, you know, I grew up and it's all fine now.
During your career, like, was there ever a moment where you thought, like, oh, I shouldn't have done this, like, you should have done differently?
I think I've definitely doubted myself because it is hard. Like, there's sometimes as well with me just doing music, I don't have like another job. So there comes times where you think, oh my God, like, why have I done this? Because I've got no work this week and where am I going to get my money from? But in general as well, I think what you're saying more comes to like self-doubt as a performer, just thinking like, am I even good enough to be a performer and like go out and do this as a job? Because there's so many good people that are doing the same thing you're doing, and you can just compare yourself a lot to other people online or that you're working with or that are doing the same thing you're doing. So it can be difficult, yeah.
Is there something you wish you knew when you were younger? If so, what is it?
Just to be nicer to myself. And I think, like, especially, it's nice having you girls here right now, because, like, I think younger girls, sometimes we can be so hard on ourselves. I know lads can be as well, but I feel like girls internalise things a lot more, and especially with, like, social media and stuff, you guys are heavily brought up in that. When I was growing up, we didn't have that. You guys have grew up with social media, and it must be so much harder for you growing up, like, comparing yourselves to people on the internet. I know a lot of young girls, especially teenagers, go through that phase, and I wish, looking back when I was younger, I didn't do those things, because we are all, as cliche and stupid as it sounds, we're all unique, and there's nothing that can take away from our uniqueness as people. And as I said earlier, like, being different and accepting ourselves is really important. And as you grow older, you realise, like, none of that stuff matters, literally. So yeah, I wish I was like less hard on myself when I was younger.
How do you think music can be a positive influence on young people, especially those facing difficult circumstances?
I think music, you know, a lot of people, when they're feeling happy, they listen to music. When they're feeling sad, they listen to music. When they're feeling angry, they listen to music. A lot of people use music as an escapism. So I think there's only a positive thing that can come from music. I love hearing stories of like young people getting involved with music and finding their music story. Because when I was about 19, I worked in a youth club, and originally I was hired to be like a music tutor type of thing, and to like help give young people like lessons in guitar or singing or whatever. And I just love seeing young people get involved, whether it's writing songs or putting covers online or having that courage to do it, because I just think it's a positive thing through and through. As well as that, there's always a positive thing for like your mental health and things like that. Like, it's overall just a positive experience for most people, music, and it's a gift. Like, as cheesy as it sounds, like everybody relates to music in some way. We all listen to something.
Can you share a time when you faced a significant challenge and how you overcame it? What did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, as I said, probably going into that, my ADHD and stuff like that, that was probably the biggest challenge I've had to date, because it's ongoing. I've got this condition that makes me a bit sporadic, and like, you know, I'm an absolute mess sometimes. And obviously with me dyslexia, it's always been a big challenge for me. Like, and again, it's been a challenge that I didn't know I was facing. And teachers were so horrible when I was younger, like, oh, you're thick, you're stupid, you're this, you're that. And that had a real impact on my self-esteem. So kind of overcoming those things that people tell you is really hard, because that can have a lasting effect on you. You genuinely think, for years, I thought I was genuinely stupid. But it wasn't. I just had a learning disability that I struggled a little bit more in my brain. Just works a little bit differently than other people's, and that's okay. We all work differently, and we learn differently. So, yeah, that's probably like one of the biggest challenges I've faced. My mum's like been my support system. Like, I came from a single parent background, so I just had my mum growing up, and she's always been there for me. I'm very, very lucky. So in that respect, through the education system, she really did like try and vouch for me and like, you know, help me through those times.
Is there any advice you'd give to like young people at our age, trying to write music, like be a songwriter?
Yeah, just to like not care what people think, literally, because when I was younger, I wouldn't put songs out, or I wouldn't do certain things or play certain things, or because I was just so scared of what other people would think about it. But the God's honest truth is, like, if you want to do anything, and that doesn't even relate to music, it relates to everything. You've just got to want it that bad that you're just going to do it anyway, no matter what other people think or say.
Can you talk about a time when you turned a negative experience into a positive outcome? How did that impact your music career and personal growth?
You know, probably when I did the X Factor when I was like 18, I had a really bad experience with the X Factor. I was stupid and young and naive, and I had like this audition and it went really wrong, and I didn't get treated very fairly, so I went to the papers and my story got really, really twisted to like something it wasn't. So what had happened was I went to the X Factor and they headhunted me and was like, you know, do you want to come on the show? And blah, blah, blah. We think you're really, really good and stuff. So they'd asked me to come and audition. And to cut a long story short, by the time I come to meet like the judges, because when you do reality TV, it's not just like the telly where hundreds of people just turn up and sing to like Simon Cowell. It just doesn't work like that. There's like 30 people a day. They just hire a load of extras to make the room look really full. So I went to the X Factor, and basically, to cut a long story short, because I wouldn't do what they wanted me to do, because that's kind of what reality TV is, they told me that I was going to be a reserve. So what that meant was like I wouldn't get seen, but they didn't word it that way, so that they'd keep me there to get as much footage as they could. So I was really annoyed at this, because I waited all day from like 8 a.m, plus travelling to Manchester to get to like the X Factor, and was there all day till like 10 p.m. And then they just said to me, no, you're going home, we're not seeing you. So obviously I was really upset, so I went to the newspapers about it, And they completely just like twisted the story and like made it about like young girl from Liverpool like waits 12 hours without food and water at the X Factor, which I never said that, but like that's what the newspapers can sometimes do. They might twist your words, and I was really naive and didn't realise that like they don't always want to favour what you're saying. So I got a lot of hate, like really like loads and loads of hate, and I found it so difficult. I was like, oh my god, like I'm getting all this hate. Like people would be like messaging me, being like, "You're so stupid. Like, why did you think you were so entitled?" It was mental. But it was around the same time that experience happened. There was another girl called Kirsty Murphy who ran into the judges, and me and her were like, that happened to us at the same time. We both were told we weren't going to be going to see the judges that day. So she ran in, and I knew what unfolded that day, and the way they edited it to make her look was so bad. Like, they made it look like she took an opportunity from these other young girls that were singing, and that just wasn't the case, because although she ran in and sang, the other girls still got to like see the judges and that, but the way they made it look was really bad. So in some sense, like, although I was so upset, seeing how manipulative and how even worse I thought I got it bad with like the hate I received because I went to the press or whatever, seeing how bad that poor girl got treated at that time and the hate she got on Twitter and everything was horrible. It made me realise that like sometimes these reality TV shows aren't what they seem, and you've kind of just got to like keep going for it, because I think after that she stopped singing, and I don't think she carried on for a little bit. She did for a bit, but I think after that she kind of just did something different. So I could have had that same experience if I would have ran in with her that day and never sang again and been that broken from it, because she got so much hate. And it made me realise that, like, although I thought what I went through was a negative experience, I still made a positive from it by still kind of going forward and still doing music, because I'd have hated something like that to like knock my confidence completely. But that was what the X Factor was like back then. Loads of people had stories of like the confidence just being wrecked because they went on a show like that. Whereas The Voice is completely different. They actually want to have like good singers on the show. We were treated really well. I've still got me like a little they give me like a flask with The Voice UK on it. And you get a vocal coach. It's not like the X Factor. Like, they really look after you, and you've got people there for your mental health and stuff, like checking in on you, and like it's just different. It's really a lot nicer. Like, all the people are lovely, and you meet really nice people there. The X Factor was just a different time in reality TV. It was before all this happened with Love Island and Jeremy Kyle. So I think back then you could get away with certain things, but now it's different. So I suppose that's a good thing. So yeah, like, it was good looking back, because I could have been made a show of on telly really badly, and yeah, it's mad.
Have you ever seen any examples of how your music has positively impacted your fans or listeners? Can you share a story?
Yeah, I a few years ago, and recently as well I've had it, but a few years ago I had a song called Take Your Time when I was like 18, and it was about like mental health and stuff. And I think I had a few people message me after a Pride event, because it was about like, I did it for LGBT Pride Month, and I had a few people message me just saying like how when I sang that song at Pride, it really moved them and like impacted them, and they related to it. Like, it was about like coming out and stuff like that. But then I've had other songs, and people have messaged me just randomly being like, oh, this song's picked me up when I've been in a really dark place. And it's just really positive, because you think, oh, I'm writing songs and I'm putting these on Spotify, and you see numbers on a screen, but you don't realise the actual people listening to it. Or like on TikTok, like, you know, I do like TikTok live and stuff, and I'm constantly posting on TikTok, and people are commenting, but you don't realise the real people that actually listen to your music and actually like what you're doing. So it's always really positive when anyone just like messages you and says they like what you're doing. So yeah.
So, like, in your career going forward, like, and personally, what are your like goals?
I think just to like keep doing what I'm doing, and like obviously getting bigger as I can at like whatever way that means. Like as long as I can like tour and bring out more music and like get support and just kind of like gain more. But there's nothing to lose in doing what I'm doing, I suppose. But yeah, just like the fact that I can like make money from my music and it's my job. It's like a dream come true anyway. Like a lot of people can't do that, so I'm really lucky.
What message would you like to send to young people who might be struggling with their own challenge?
Just like to keep going through it. Like it's that hard. I faced a lot of challenges growing up. Like I obviously said like I was from a single parent background, and although I personally didn't struggle, my mum struggled like raising me on her own. But we had loads of other struggles like losing family members, and my mum was sick at one point when I was in school. She had like cancer and she wasn't very well. I've been through a lot through school and through life, but the best thing you can do is just, as stupid and cliche as it sounds, is just try and stay positive and just try and see the good in every day. Because I look back on certain times and be like, that was really, really dark, and I've been through some really bad things, but I wanted to give up on certain things. I wanted to give up on uni. I wanted to give up on a lot of things in my life, but I look at where I am now, and if I would have give up those things, I wouldn't be at where I'm at now. My life might have went a completely different way. So just think, yeah, just never give up, whatever it is. Just keep positive, keep striving, keep looking after yourself, and you'll always somehow find a way.
So, thanks for like coming on the podcast. As well, we really enjoy like having a conversation.
Well, I've learned something new today. Thank you so much. I've learned about Skibidi Toilet. Thank you so much for having me and talking about stuff. Thank you.